Hello, my Arizona homeschooling friends. Today I want to show you how to use the Arizona ESA funding for technological devices. What does that mean? And there you have it. Little known fact. Arizona ESA funding can be used to cover all kinds of technological devices for your kids. That means, in plain human speak, their computers, laptops, printers, and all the supplies that are attached to those. I wrote in the red the ones that we use the most often. Nowadays we don't use calculators as much because you can get that on a computer or on a tablet or something like that. So that being said, I'm going to show you how we've used this recently and how to submit a claim so that you can be reimbursed using ESA funding. So let's hop on over to the screen right about there. So you can see this is again straight from the ESA Parent Handbook, where you can go to verify these are reimbursable equipment. Now, one of the things I want to emphasize is that in that equipment, it's not just that equipment, it's all the associated pieces you need for it. So for instance, with a computer, you need a keyboard and a mouse. That's why I purposely drew some of these things on the little sketch pad as I was drawing there. For a telescope, you may need a stand. For a printer, you may need toner, which is exactly what we ended up using it for, because you know that toner can be so expensive, and as homeschoolers, we're printing all the time, right? So that being said, I'm going to take you right over to ClassLink. This is one of my students. Now the question you might get is, if you buy a computer, is it specific to that student? Or if I buy a printer, which student do I use that for? That one is up to you as a parent. And this is where you're going to need some thought. For instance, we have 7 kids. So we look at it and we go, okay, well, we get $7,000 of ESA funding for each one each year. So I look and I go, okay, we're going to have that longer, assuming the ESA program continues as it stands. We're going to have that longer for our younger children. So when we buy a lot of shared things like whiteboards or printers or toner, I usually will take it from the younger kids or the kids that I know won't have as many other expenses. For instance, some of our kids are athletes, and so they have a lot of athletic expenses that are associated with the PE program. That's in a whole other video. But others aren't. And I go, okay, well, we'll balance it out that way. Again, it's parent-directed funding, so you as the parent need to make that call. Hopefully that's helpful to you. So I'm going to come back here. Let's just say this child, which I've grayed out names and amounts, is going to be using that printer. Now, we purchased the printer ink from Amazon. Now, let me show you this right here. This is the receipt from the actual Amazon order. Now, I know, and some of you may know, that you can actually order directly from Amazon through the ESA website. I usually don't. I usually purchase things just to keep it consistent in my mind. I purchase things, I print out receipts, and I file for reimbursement. But that said, it takes time to do it that way because you have to wait for them to approve it and it come through. Sometimes it's more efficient to just go straight through the ESA website, because at that point you don't even have to use your personal funds to get this thing. But as you can see right on the screen, printer toner is brutally expensive. So when we needed to refill our toner to print out a lot of the books that we use for our kids, that's a $756 expense. So we can take that straight over to the ESA website, $756. I can't remember how many cents. I'll put 19 for the time. Obviously that has to match. Click on next. I'm going to head over here to the printer receipt. It's going to upload. It's going to give me the option to crop it. I'll just say that's fine. It's cropped enough. Now I've cut off a bunch of this receipt. There may be more information that you would include on your official one. I'm just using this as a demonstration. I'm going to click on next. Which purse am I going to get this from? I'm going to choose the ESA funds that apply to the student. How much of it would you like to cover, and which category, it's important to pick the right category, does this fall into? It is computer hardware and technological devices. Scroll down, hit next, and final step would be to submit that for reimbursement. That's it. Once the staff over at Arizona ESA program approves that money should transfer directly into your bank account. I hope this is informative for you. Happy homeschooling.